good. Today the challenges are different. And the only thing I can say is in the last 14 years, every 2 to 3 years we would face different challenges. It's not the same thing. So earlier it was how do you get your first customer, and then it becomes, you know, how do you
sustain your customer and add some new to them.
Then you have people. Today the biggest problem is how do you attract people, because you know in 1999 when we wanted to grow the company, there was a perception that testing is a very low value job, and technical people didn't want to do it. So we had to solve the problem. So we looked at it completely in a new HR angle. We said, look, why take computer science people? Let's motivate some other kind of people to come into the thing. So virtually we created testing as a career. So we said that, okay, you can start as a tester, become a test engineer, you become a test leader, you can become a delivery manager, hire different kinds of people, have a career path for them. So those were the challenges. Today now the challenges, we've got so many trained people, we have created this kind of new career, and larger companies and bigger multinationals, they attract our people. So now we have to continuously replenish our pool of people. So every 3-4 years the set of challenges keeps changing. Currently I think the challenge is to create our managerial and middle management layer and try to expand the company and scale it up to whatever its potential is.
How has the industry reacted to these kind of facilities, maybe testing once the software is developed? We'll talk more on that, but that's okay. Wait, stay tuned. Welcome back. We are talking to Mr. Ashwini Kumar, the CEO of ThinkSoft. Ashwini, we are talking about the fact that how has the industry reacted to this testing facilities, and who are the people who really avail these kind of facilities?
Okay, Kanya, let me say there are 3 or 4 sponsors for our business, or you know the projects come from 3 or 4 directions. One is the end users. Let's say the global 500 banks who are our customers. We have among our customer list, for example, we have Citigroup, we have ABN AMRO, we have Morgan Stanley, and we have the State Bank of India as one of the largest. So as long as the end user, when he becomes aware of that there is an option like this and they can hire an independent party to do this work for them, I think the response has been tremendous. They have no doubts about its value. They go all out and they remain with us as a long-term customer. This is definitely the primary segment because they see business value in it. Second type of people who come to us are enlightened CIOs of large companies. Now what a CIO would like to do is when he delivers the software to his internal user or external user, he doesn't want any problems coming back to him. Right. So some of these people, what they do is, okay, they say if there's an independent party with domain skills and testing skills available, hire them, they'll check out the whole thing in a functional test before they deliver to the customer. So we have some customers, for example, the Morgan Stanley account is like that. The information systems department is very enlightened, so they use our services before they pass it on to customer. In fact, they tell their customer that we are getting it independently tested before we deliver it to you. So there's more credibility, more comfort when the software actually lands up there. Now the third kind of customer would be large companies, software integrated, system integrators like EDS, IBM, or the big pros or the big companies of India, where they also, when they take up very large projects and they want a sense of comfort before dispatching the software, they associate with us and get us to do a functional test before they deliver the software to the customer. So since we are very clued into financial services, if it's, for example, core banking, treasury, credit cards, we've got excellent expertise. So in these areas, we tend to get projects even from system integrators, consulting companies, on very large projects where they think the quality of delivery is very important. So they tend to call us and, you know.
What are the basic parameters on which you test the software, and what are the key aspects that you look into basically?
One of the basic parameter, of course, is whether the software met requirements. Now, how do you do this? So we have a whole set of best practices, methodologies and processes which we have put into place. So for example,
does this methodology change from case to case, or it is a...
No, there is a basic methodology, there is a set of generic methodologies. There particular techniques might change from case to case. For example, in every project we have to demonstrate to the client that our testing has covered everything. So that is called functional coverage or test coverage. So we have a method by which we do functional decomposition. We decompose everything to its lowest element. Then we show how we are treating these elements, how we are creating test data for them, how we are creating test cases for them, how did we test them. And then we demonstrate to the client that, look, everything has been tested, looked after. So he's got a sense of comfort. This whole thing is an auditable, independent, transparent process. And then he gets a sense of comfort that, okay, this has been done, and, you know, most of my say. So if there's a problem in that, we give him a defect report. Then we get the supplier to rectify that, or get the own internal department to rectify that. So this whole process is very transparent, and he gets a comfort feeling at the end of it. And there are various steps. How do you do? We do a test strategy. That could be one step. Agree on how the whole thing is to be done. What is the scope? How much is offshore? How much is on-site? Whether we'll do it in phases. Are we going to use tools? Are we going to do it manually? There are so many issues in the strategy phase. Then once they agree on that, we go into the test planning phase, where the whole team sits down and understands the project and makes the test plan. And then we go into the test execution phase. And then if it's a long-term project, we automate the whole thing and make it repeatable and faster and make it more productive.
Is it a one-time exercise, or it keeps on, from time to time?
It could be a large one-time exercise. There are clients who say, okay, we have 4 releases of our application coming every year, so keep doing it for the next 3 years.
How important is testing in today's scenario, wherein more and more companies are going for system integration? And, especially in light of the fact that 10 years down the line, before 10 years, more and more companies went to do software integration, and now they might be facing problems for that matter, or that software may not be compatible with their business model as of now.
Right.
So is there any remedy for that, and are you also looking at those kind of stuff?
Definitely, because today today the buzzword is enterprise application integration, EAI. So lots and lots of applications, software tools are getting integrated. So software is not just one thing, it's a complex set of components. So all the more important when users either develop a new product or buy a new product, it's very important that it fits in with all the other products and works in a very smooth way. So I think testing is very, very important. To give you some examples, there was a US Department of Commerce survey last year, National Institute of Standards and Technology. They said that 2/3 of financial services organization had bad software delivered because of lack of adequate testing. They said the productivity loss to the US economy was $1.5 billion in the year 2002. So this is because of inadequate testing.
That's huge.
That's very huge.
Yeah.
So there are formal studies to show that if you don't test your software properly and put it into production, the amount of losses which can happen to you, the amount of see, the losses are of various types. One is direct loss. If I get a bad piece, I need to repair it. So the sheer cost of repair.
Right.
Now, second thing is, once I put a bad piece into production, my customers are dissatisfied. For example, banks customers, they go to an ATM center, the ATM doesn't work. Immediately, if 10 people experience that,
goodwill is lost.
Goodwill is lost, customers change the bank, so you lose customers. If you lose customer, you lose brand. So like that, there are a lot of imputed costs. And then the legal lawsuits can come into you, because if I get a wrong statement of account in America, you can get sued for $10 million saying that, my account was not produced properly. Then regulators can come against you, especially today when, there's so much of transparency going on. So I have estimated that, the cost of repair is just about 1/50th of the other costs of having bad software. So if it costs you $10 to repair something in a software, it may cost you, 50 times $500 for all the other things. So if you have 100 defects in your software, your downtime cost goes on to 5 million, 10 million. So
how big is testing market worldwide?
Worldwide, I won't attempt to say, but in India, I think outsourced testing market for players like us definitely is of the order of $100 million US dollars, and it's worth going after. It's quite
now, since
substantial.
more and more work is being outsourced, so India back office operations are 16. How important is your role in this scenario?
In BPO, our role may not be very significant as in other areas, because BPO is a process which is set. So once whatever works well, they send it to India, and then they try to replicate it and manage and develop the scale here. Whereas what we are expert in is in a very changing scenario, where applications are changing, enhancements are coming in, new products are coming in. So that's where we help them to manage the risks which are coming. So actually, in a way, we are doing risk management for them.